You struggle to get the contract, and then the contract is sort of, you know, the indentured servitude type of thing. At 23 years old, I'm signing a contract that's supposed to take me into 37. So they're basically anticipating your entire arc. You sign the deal, and then it becomes this weird dance of like, can I sustain success?
This industry is not what it seems to be. You want to be a rapper, you got 200 followers. I bet you there's rappers in here right now that can rap way better than me. You can rap way better than me. You will never be where I'm at because this industry is rigged.
I took an oath when I was 16, and loyalty means so much to me. And loyalty should mean so much to anybody. Let's say if the devil comes to you, right? And so I'll give you $100 million, but I want you to turn your back on God. Would you turn your back on God, or will you take that $100 million?
Man, the game is fucking bullshit. If you want to rap or sing or whatever, don't become a part of the game, of the industry. Man, it's not the same. The industry, it's not a fucking game. The industry, real niggas is dying to get in the industry just to find they don't fit in.
Look, I'm gonna tell you a story, cause I ain't really trying to put niggas out there, right? But a nigga in the studio, we from the hood. I'm on point right now, my nigga. Fact. Always on my square. But a nigga that's a square, he don't know. Yeah. So he don't know watch your drink. So now he drink behind a nigga, he get drugged, they rape this nigga, videotape it. Then when he in the meeting, they give him a shitty contract, they play the video of him getting fucked by like 3 niggas. He ain't never been through no shit like that, so he like, man. So rather than get that story put out, he gonna sign that bad contract, which is the 360 deal. He gonna take that advance, which is recoupable anyway. So they gonna give him the money just to take back and own the rights to his shit.
The music business is ran by the devil. The music business is only designed to get as many people to go away from God as possible. The devil needs workers, and by workers, he needs people who have influence, who can mislead or misguide people away from the light into the darkness. The artist is only the tool used to push the message of the devil.
Woo! Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Sam B right here with the Tune Up Show. So check it out, right? I hope you enjoyed the little snippets I put together. Of course, Booz Arts helped me out with the editing. Much love, bro. And I just wanted to put that in there because if you saw the thumbnail, you see the title. This is a documentary that I came across like a month ago. And I've always been wanting to do something in the music industry, but I wanted to be significant. A lot of people are always talking about, oh, you sold your soul to the devil and all these rappers are doing it. But no one is really saying how these rappers are dying like a year, 2 years within their contracts. Okay, we've noticed within the last 5, maybe 6 years of how these young rappers, Juice WRLD, Pop Smoke, Nipsey Hussle, the King Von, the list goes, Young Dolph, all of these young rappers, with you know, I would say a lot of them had like great talent, you know, but I mean, they had talent nonetheless. So people always ask, how are these rappers always dying? Is it a hit? Is the record label setting them up? If so, how come the record label isn't being investigated? How come the managers, how come the people that are involved are not being investigated? Well, there's a thing called the death clause, okay? And in this next video that I'm going to show is going to explain to you exactly what the death clause is when you sign your name in an entertainment contract with a major record label. Now, I'm not talking about if you underground and, you know, you just making YouTube videos and, you know, you're seeing some money, you know, even if you're like mid-level entertainment level and you know, you're making maybe 10, maybe 20 grand a show. No, this is for the people that's making like $250,000 to $500,000 per show. Okay, you're all over the airwaves. You have 10 plus million followers on all social media. This is the level. It's levels to this. So this particular contract, like what they call a 360 contract, okay, this is only given to artists that they're trying to push to the top very, very fast because they want to be able to make a turnaround on their investment. They want to be able to have a 3,000% turnaround on their investment, and it's called the death clause. I'm gonna upload the full documentary, but I'm only going to talk about this one part. It's called the death clause, and it's going to show you exactly how the music industry is able to make a profit off of your death, and it's all legal. It's all legally binding. So let's get into it. Let's do this.
The Jimi Hendrix experience is over. The acid rock musician died today in a London hospital, apparently from an overdose of drugs.
The death of another rock musician was disclosed today. Jim Morrison, 27 years old, lead singer of The Doors. His manager said Morrison died 6 days ago in Paris, either of a heart attack or pneumonia. But the death was kept secret to avoid a sensation.
Kurt Cobain, the lead singer of the enormously popular rock band.
And I'm sorry, I want to just give shout out to the person. He's called Barely Sociable. This is the YouTube channel or the video that I'm using. So shout out to him. This is a really great documentary. Like I said before, I'm going to upload the full documentary in the description. So if you want to watch it later after watching this video, by all means, make it happen.
Nirvana is dead at the age of 27. More now from NBC's Brian Williams.
The international music industry is in shock with the death of rock star Michael Hutchence. The body of the INXS lead singer was discovered in a Sydney hotel room late this morning.
The Hollywood coroner says an overdose of narcotics was responsible for the death of the well-known rock singer Janis Joplin. Ms. Joplin was found dead in her bedroom last night.
Exactly what happened inside the iconic Beverly Hilton remains a mystery. Paramedics raced to the 4th floor and found a lifeless Whitney Houston inside her hotel room bathtub.
Both the Los Angeles Times and CBS News are both now reporting that Michael Jackson has died.
I don't think many people at first glance would regard being a popular musician to be particularly deadly, but looking at the data, we see something rather peculiar. According to a study conducted by the University of Sydney, which sampled 13,000 different artists across 7 decades, it was noted that a popular musician's life expectancy was up to 25 years shorter comparable to the general population. Furthermore, accidental death rates were between 5 and 10 times greater, suicide rates were between 2 and 7 times greater, and homicide rates were up to 8 times greater. The study suggests an average life expectancy for musicians that are male to be in the late 50s and women in the early 60s. At first glance, these numbers are hard to contextualize, so let me give you something to compare it to. This is the same life expectancy you'd expect to see for a police officer in Buffalo, which has been labeled the most dangerous city in New York. Or if we're talking about the 90s, a male musician has a shorter life expectancy than a coal miner in China in the 1980s. These numbers make it clear as day that the true price of fame in the music industry is up to 25 years off your life. But that's not to say that fame is this deadly across the board. In another study that sampled 1,000 different notable people from 2009 to 2011 from all professions, they found that those notable for their work in business, politics, or military generally lived longer than the national average, while writers, performers, and other creative types were only noted to have their lives shortened by a year. So what is going on with the music industry in particular? While we've established that the music industry is particularly deadly, the vast majority of the literature on the phenomena seems to isolate this to just one or two things, such as the added stresses from fame or the ease of access to substance, or that creative types tend to be more predisposed to mental illness. While there's no denying that these factors definitely play a role in this phenomena, perhaps there's a bit more to this story. While much of the formal research on this topic scrutinizes what is wrong with the artist as an individual, perhaps it's better in this case to focus on what is going on within the industry as a whole. Because if you shift focus away from the individual to the industry, and you pause for a moment to think about the financial incentives of the music world, you'll notice something incredibly concerning. Music is one of the few industries on the planet where someone's work is worth significantly more to a company after their passing.
All right, so if you're paying attention to this, I know he's pretty much talking about the past, and he's really focusing on like pop stars and rock stars, but we all know a rapper's life expectancy is cut like by half of what a pop star is, and literally more than half by what a rock star is. Rappers today, I mean, like I said, man, they're getting signed like literally, yesterday, and then they're dying within that year. Okay, and then for some reason, everybody knows about them. So this documentary is sticking closely to pop stars and rock stars, but the same formula can be applied to the hip hop culture. And I would honestly say, to me personally, I have plenty of friends that's in the rap industry that's doing a lot of concerts, a lot of shows. And, I can only pray that they are aware of this and they don't go signing any major contracts. So let's continue.
Generations are remembered by the art that they leave behind, and the easiest way to be remembered is to be hailed as a legend from that time period. A premature death can take an artist from a good artist to a legend, which can in some cases solidify an artist's recording catalog to be a cash cow for decades to come. Think about this for a moment. When an artist signs his name on the dotted line to a record company, the record company will in many cases own all of the masters for the songs recorded under that contract. And when an artist signs to a major label, it's safe to say that their death is in many ways factored into the initial investment. And in many ways, after an artist has peaked in popularity, there becomes an awkward point in their career where the artist is worth more to them dead than alive.
I hope you got that. A lot of you guys out here and women, young men and women that are literally, yeah, of course, this happens, right? A lot of you men, a lot of you young guys and a lot of young girls out here, and you're seeking this fame, you're seeking this. Let me tell you something, like what Barely Sociable says, in this documentary, your death is factored into your earnings. So whatever you can't make while you're alive and entertaining, you will make that in your death. And with the entertainment industry being its own entity, its own business entity, it's all legally binding because you put your name on a contract. So you're basically giving this major record label, your manager, your publicist, you're giving everybody permission to kill you off. That's what you're doing when you sign your name on these major contracts. You're giving another person permission to do what they want with your body, to do with what they want with you. That's what it's all about. That's the whole key element of selling your soul. You're selling your soul to somebody else because in your mind, you let these people convince you that they can do better by you than yourself. Look at that. Look at that. That's crazy.
Mad at him due to the business that he did.
Yeah.
And I can't even say mad is that they didn't have a part of it. Let's be real. I'm gonna say it out there straight for everybody listening. My uncle didn't die. He was murdered. I feel the same thing about Prince. We're losing a lot of stars because you have to remember, these are basically insurance policies. When he dies, whatever was owned by the company reverts back. We're not talking about $100,000. We're not talking about $1 million. We're talking about billions of dollars. Notice that when my uncle dies, why do you hear all his music? Why is there a Motown cartoon out now? Okay, well, obviously when my uncle was alive, he wasn't giving the rights to anybody. But when he dies, all of a sudden.
And that's really what it's all about, though, right? Because I don't care who you are, and me personally, I am sick and tired of hearing people virtue signaling about these dead rappers. Talking about, oh, I listen to them all the time, and I've always was a fan. Well, you a damn fool. You a damn fool, because that record label killed that man. Okay? Because that particular rapper, yes, Nipsey Hussle, all them dudes that accepted that 360 deal, that cash up front, and all that fame are fools. They're fools because they wanted it right then and there. Oh, I don't care. I don't care. I want it now. I want it now. And a lot of you praise these dead rappers. You put them up on your walls, okay? These rappers did not care about you. They wanted what they wanted for themselves. And they paid the ultimate price with their life at the end. This is serious business. When you sign your soul over, this is what you are legally telling the courts and lawyers that, hey, this particular record label has ownership over me. And they can do what they like with my body when I'm not making the kind of money that they put or invest into my talent.
It's pretty incredible to me that all of us have kind of heard this anecdote about musicians dying at a young age, but every time this happens, nobody casts an ounce of skepticism about this kind of thing, or how much these people are worth dead. That, in my opinion, is the true dark side of the music industry. And it seriously does not help that social media in the modern day has made artists' deaths even more lucrative. As one Nielsen executive had stated in 2016, if Earth, Wind & Fire's Maurice White passed away 10 years ago, you might have read about it in a paper and then waited until there was a store open, he said. Now the news cycle travels extremely fast, and you get more awareness. The instant gratification is there. You can buy it or stream it, and it magnifies the consumption. Now, instant gratification is definitely an interesting word choice from this Nielsen executive, especially considering some of his other comments in the same article. This was different from other years, Dave Bakula, Nielsen's senior vice president of Industry Insights, told the Post. The news cycle is very viral. I've never seen a year like this before. The number of big-name artists passing away. The music industry is getting an extra boost from the celebration, he added. Notice that the author of the article here had to add this for context, but obviously I am nitpicking a bit. All of you probably know what this executive is talking about. Whenever an artist passes away, everyone comes out to show their respects on social media, and this effect has an uncanny ability to run up sales numbers. While in recent history it's been labeled the Prince effect, we have known for quite some time that an artist passing can be lucrative. But just how lucrative it is, we are just now getting to measure the effects more closely in the modern day. One paper titled Music, Death, and Profits lays this all out for us. Notably, this was the first study of its kind to show the long-term effects of this phenomenon. In their study that monitored 81 artists who passed away from 2015 to 2017, they found something pretty disturbing. Our findings show that a rate of sales does not return to pre-death levels, but instead is in most instances persistently higher even several years after the death shock occurs. Album sales leapt a staggering 226% on average, just on the day the artist died, and they doubled overall on average for the first 100 days. For bigger artists like Prince, the effect was even more pronounced, as he saw a 16,000% increase, while other large artists saw very staggering numbers as well.
And that's what I'm saying, like, you see what's going on here, because the first thing somebody do, the first thing I remember, man, I remember when Michael Jackson died, and all you heard for the whole year was Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson. Oh, rest in peace to the king of pop. Rest in peace, rest in peace, rest in peace. Well, I don't see how he can rest in peace, because y'all keep trying to bring this man back to life through his music. You see, it's that fandom. These record labels count on, and we all know about Michael when he was trying to get out of Sony. Nah, man, this is why it's believable that a major record label can kill off somebody like Michael Jackson, because they want that money. Because you know why? Because before Michael was even famous, before Michael was Michael, millions and millions of dollars was invested in him and the Jackson 5 before he became Michael. He didn't really become Michael until the Bad album. Okay? And then I think he came out with the Thriller album. Okay? Or maybe that was the same one. I'm not really sure. But you get the gist. Okay? So it's up to us to stop this fandom worship. It's okay to listen to music and be happy and be joyful in the music. But once you get to silly, crazed fandom, then you're crossing the line. Because they're still human beings at the end of the day. And we immortalize these people. Okay? Same thing goes for Pop Smoke or PNB Rock and all these other guys who made music pretty much because they had to make it. They had to make that money. That's why a lot of rappers know when they about to die. You know why they know when they about to die? And someone finally sat them down and said, hey, if you're not making us money, then that means you're losing us money. And we're going to have to talk about your future in the soon hereafter. You know what that means? That means that, hey, get ready. You're about to be sacrificed. You're about to be killed. We're about to make our money back off of you. That's why a lot of rappers know when they about to die, because they're not making enough money. Okay? That's why a lot of these singers, these pop stars, when they sign these deals, they work tirelessly to be in the public's face, because they know their life is on the line if they don't make the kind of money that they're supposed to be making. Believe it or not. Look it up. All of them know it. Let's continue.
Furthermore, looking at the album sales for other rappers who have died young, we see that almost all of them see commercial success they never saw in their own lifetime. As if the financial incentives weren't already way too far in the wrong direction, this actually gets a hell of a lot worse. Because there's a clause in record contracts that allows record labels to cash in even more after an artist's passing. This has been going on since the early days of the music industry, and it's quite literally a standard practice. It's called the death clause, or the non-performance clause. Now, this is one of those lesser-known details in regards to record contracts, but the former manager of the Grateful Dead, Hank Harrison, wrote about this some years back. Essentially, it goes something like this. Company shall have the right to secure insurance equivalent to 10 times the estimated value of the artist's earnings from any source of revenue for company's sole benefit. Company shall be allowed to employ any insurance carrier or combination of the same to assure this benefit and need not consult or require signature compliance from the artist. Company shall keep such information confidential, except that the company may disclose information to the applicable insurance carriers or as required by law. Artist or artist estate shall have no right to review or claim the benefit of any such policy obtained by the company. And to quote what Hank Harrison later wrote in this article, he states, "In short, here is what a death clause does in my humble opinion. If an artist fails to perform or pay back advances, the artist becomes more profitable dead. Today, the hit clause still exists, but it is more subtle, and whereas it used to be worth thousands, it's now potentially worth billions. Labels invest millions in new talent, and the insurance policy is a protection against loss or a way of collecting projected profits for music, t-shirts, books, foreign rights, and everything else in all forms." Now, I want to clarify one thing here about the death clause, and it's that this type of life insurance, also known as key man insurance, is actually a standard practice in other industries as well. And depending on how you look at this, it's honestly just a smart business move given how much money they invested into them in the first place. But normally when an employee dies in other industries, there is a pretty significant loss of revenue, and this insurance is designed to make it so the company can stay afloat until they find a replacement. But in the music industry, this is just them double dipping. Now, in case you're unfamiliar, record deals are structured like a loan, also known as an advance. A certain amount the artist gets to keep for living expenses, and the rest will usually get poured into the cost of making an album as well as marketing it. While the specifics will vary from deal to deal, the premise is pretty much the same across the board. Only after the label is paid back in full will the artist receive any royalties on the music recorded during that time. And assuming all goes well with the contract, the process will repeat with a new contract and new debt. If they don't succeed though, or paying back the label is taking too long, or the artist is trying to get out of the deal, then the death clause conveniently helps the label collect. What's more, as bad of a reputation...
I really hope that people got that. The death clause in these entertainment contracts, they make it legal and helpful for these record labels to make the kind of money that they wanted to make off you while you were alive, but it allows them to make it off you in death. Now, I know you got your naysayers out there. You got people that's probably shaking their head. No, Sam B, that's not right. No. There's no record label on it. Well, guess what? You mean to tell me that every rapper is getting shot up in the drive-by? You mean to tell me every singer, every artist dies of a drug overdose? I mean, I know Hollywood and the music industry is crazy, but my goodness, how many times can a rapper or a singer die of an overdose? You hear songs and stories about this person doing drugs day in and day out. Then one day, next month, they just drop dead. They just drop dead out of nowhere. Come on, people. Wake up. Wake up.
As record labels may have, they aren't the only ones with perverse incentives. The artist also has to consider that his own loved ones might be out to get him as well, presuming any family members may be included in their will. And if that wasn't bad enough, it has become a far more common practice for artists nowadays to sell parts of their recording catalog on brokerage sites like Royalty Exchange. And I'm just going to flat out say this right now, it's only a matter of time before something bad happens with one of these Royalty Exchange platforms. As one article from MarketWatch stated, buy some of the rights to a rock star's music and you're likely to see a big bump in your royalties if he or she dies suddenly. It creates some awkward incentives. Don't be surprised if this turns up as the plot to a Hollywood thriller sometime soon. So yeah, nowadays basically an artist has to worry about literally anyone and everyone potentially having a price on their head.
So yeah, I'm gonna stop right there. I just wanted people to get a real quick, and it's about maybe a whole other hour left on this documentary. I'm going to post it up in the description, so if you want to watch the rest, it's a really good documentary. I really, truly recommend it. But I really wanted to just help any young artists out there, especially the young black men out there that just want to be rappers and just want to, they want to, they feel like, oh, well, they're going to give me $1 million. Well, that's $1 million that over the time frame that they signed you, you have to be able to make that back 10 times over, because that's how much they're really investing in you. Okay? When someone's investing money in you, that means that they're expecting a certain outcome from your talent. And if you don't bring that out in the time frame that they wanted, then guess what? What they're going to normally do is, okay, what they'll do is they'll start putting you on tracks with other rappers. They'll start putting you on tracks with other singers. They'll start putting you on TV. Look at what they're doing with Chance the Rapper. Look what Jay-Z doing. Chance the Rapper, he's running around like a little hoe trying to be viable to Jay-Z's empire. I guarantee you, if Chance the Rapper don't start coming out with some hits or making some big bucks for The Rock, look for another sacrifice. I guarantee you that. I guarantee that, because see, these kind of contracts, you only get these kind of contracts with people like Diddy, Jay-Z, 50. I think Young Buck got a contract like that. And he's still fighting for his life. You know what I mean? And you just, and a lot of people say, oh, it's not personal, it's just business. Well, guess what? You go sign your name on that dotted line, and you sit down with those big wigs, those corporate big wigs that's telling you, hey, you better start turning out some tricks or turning out some money. You better do something. You better make something happen, because guess what? I put $5 million in you, and you signed a contract that you was going to quadruple the money that I invested in you. So I put $5 million into you. Hey, you supposed to be making me $25 million, or you supposed to be making me $75 million. I put $5 million into you. You supposed to be putting that back. Okay, same thing went for Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle apparently wasn't that great of a rapper until he died. You know why? Because he signed that deal with Jay-Z. All right, Jay-Z, buy all of it. You can have everything. Just give me some money. Give me some money, Jay-Z. And guess what? They lined him up with Lauren London. Give him a little bit more fame. Okay? Had him going out to the Grammys. It's looking all good. And this is what they do to you. They boost you up so that way they can get you in the public's eye. And then before you know it, oh, he got clipped. He's dead now. So who's making all his money? Jay-Z made all of Nipsey Hussle's money. That's why people on the East Coast heard about him for the first time. And you got niggas on the East Coast talking about, I've always listened to Nipsey Hussle. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Stop being a dick rider your whole life. And understand that these people are out here making dollars, hundreds and thousands of millions of dollars on the souls of pitiful people that just want to be in the limelight. And they're willing to sell out their whole life for 2 years of fortune and fame. Pitiful people these rappers are, these singers, these pop stars. It's a damn shame. Don't ever sell your life out just for a couple years of fame and fortune. My God. I'm out of here. Peace.